This was supposed to be the main show of military firepower on the Korean peninsula on Monday. South Korean, US and Australian forces came ashore as part of the biggest combined amphibious assault drill here for 20 years. But not for the first time, North Korea had other ideas. On South Korea's far-flung northwestern islands, residents hunkered down in air raid shelters as North and South exchanged fire. The South Korean government said 100 of the 500 shells fired in a North Korean drill fell in its waters, what it termed a planned provocation.
Our military fired back about 300 rounds of artillery with K9 self-propelled howitzers. We in the United States are working together to closely monitor the movement of the North Korean army.
This was no repeat of the North Korean shelling of Yeonpyeong Island in 2010, when 4 South Koreans died. Instead, the shells of both sides fell harmlessly into the water. The barrage came 24 hours after North Korea raised the prospect of carrying out what it called a new form of nuclear test.
These little things in the Yellow Sea usually don't spiral, as I think we fear they do. But the nuclear issue is much more significant. North Korea now has a well-known, well-established detonation capacity. That is, they can actually explode a device. The real issue is now, can they miniaturize it, put it on top of a rocket, and actually send it somewhere?
Back on South Korea's southeastern coast, we boarded a US military aircraft and headed offshore to the USS Bonhomme Richard, the center of operations for this drill.
Even before today's reports of an exchange of fire, even before this exercise got underway, its sheer scale led some to believe that North Korea might want to put on a show of its own in response.
The most senior US Marine based in the Asia-Pacific region told me they'd factored that into their planning.
The advantage in our ability to train together in this unique situation, as long as we did it in the least threatening manner that we could, we felt that there was a good advantage to it and that it would not lead to significant provocation.
The US military says this was simply opportune timing, making use of troops returning from the Middle East. But after a relatively positive start to 2014 in terms of inter-Korean relations, including the first high-level talks between North and South for 7 years, recent weeks have seen a return to a more familiar form of dialogue involving weaponry as well as words. Fawcett, Al Jazeera, Pohang, South Korea.